your website on the screen, everything. We can do an advertisement for Talbot. I've already sent some students, at least interested students there, all the above.
Well, maybe if you could put Finding Quiet, my book on anxiety on, that would help me. So,
listen, brother, well, let me go this way. This just came in today. It's JP, I can't give these away fast enough.
That means a lot to me because I didn't waste my own suffering.
Brother, it has been the most requested book of all the books we suggest across the congregation. The most attended Sunday school, we have people that winter here and then they leave. And so our congregation doubles between about November and April, and then it goes back down. I was a part of I do an apologetic Sunday school class. I was a part of the only one that grew in the summer where the snowbirds were gone, because it was what I'm calling existential apologetics, apologetics about the mind, and how to deal with depression, anxiety, this culture. It's Kingdom Triangle. It's that whole section. Yes, that whole section. Lost Virtue of Happiness. I mean, it's honestly, it's just expansion on those. We had people coming out of the woodwork. We had to move venues twice. So, brother, if you need any real world encouragement, it is.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And by the way, across the board, we have 20-year-olds that want it and read it and are living by it. We have 70, 80-year-olds. It's amazingly trans-chronological.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. It's just, I don't know how many more resources I can get out of you, but God bless. Goodness. So it'll work, but it's unbelievable. We just ordered a new group of them. So I'll ask you to, so it's beautiful. Well, everybody, I've got a treat for you today. This is a personal hero of mine. I'm going to try not to, I will not gush. We get to talk for a little while and get some of the valuable seconds from James Porter Moreland. I can't recommend more highly any resource from him. I've never read a bad JP Moreland book. I think I just told somebody on one of these things, one of our guests that came in and was watching another live stream, that I've never read a bad Tom Sowell book. I've never read a bad JP book. And just hundreds of different publications, has made a journey, from campus ministry to church planting to over 200 college campuses, JP. I don't know how many churches, dozens and dozens and dozens of churches as well, has done the planting thing, has done the support thing, has been a pastor, a preacher. Unless you've joined a monastic community, I guess you've done basically everything, but multiply published, and probably, I'll just say this, he won't say it, he's probably too modest to say it, but across the board, as part the widest variety of resources out of one person. They make the joke that C.S. Lewis, in the future, they'll say he was a cipher for 5 different authors. I think JP might be in there running for something like that. But JP, it's such an honor to have you. I can't wait to talk about your works and your books. We just are so excited to have you. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, Joe, it's good to be with you and to co-labor with you in this important ministry you're doing, and I'm just glad to be here.
Oh, man, it's great. So we'll just jump right into it. So, JP, one of the things I try to tell people is there are so many resources. We're living in a golden era of Christian defense, apologetics, and scholarship. I don't know of another era, and I'm fairly versed in church history, but if you start as far back as like Scaling the Secular City and move all the way up to Finding Quiet, a book that's been remarkably useful, could you give us kind of your journey, the difference, what you were trying to get at? Because I think you can put it in about a 5-part category, but why don't you tell us what you were trying to get at with your published expression?
Well, I think when I began my publishing work in the early 80s, what I really wanted to do was to kind of raise the bar on Christian apologetics and ethics and reasoning, because my heart has always been evangelism and discipleship. And I've wanted the culture to have to face Jesus because he is so attractive, and this makes so much sense that people need to be exposed to the real deal. And so I wrote books that I wanted to occupy a ground between very needed popular apologetics books, which are so important, but also very scholarly apologetics books. And so I was trying to meet that middle ground. As time went on, I began to split my time between publishing what I would consider to be upper tier academic works in journals and in some academic publishers like Oxford Press and Routledge, so that I could help penetrate the graduate student and professor world. But then I began to write more things that were at a simpler level. And that dealt more with the whole person, Joe. So Finding Quiet deals with my own journey in anxiety and depression, The Lost Virtue of Happiness, and Learning to Love God with All Your Mind, I think was an important message. And so I just sort of moved as I saw the needs move, and I've tried to be an example of someone who values not only the life of the mind, but internal emotional health and character development and the supernatural power of the kingdom.
Absolutely. I used Loving God as an astounding resource with All Your Mind. I've even got, I believe, the tribute that I think the Reformer students gave you for Loving God. Wonderful, wonderful work. Beautiful to read. Probably very encouraging to you. I used it both as a resource and as a template for teaching when I used to teach at the academy level and did apologetics for juniors and seniors at that level right before college, university. Could you talk a little bit about making epistemology accessible? It's that $10, 10-cent philosopher's word, but it's so important. I mean, if you don't get that strand through your work, you just don't get you, I don't think so.
Well, epistemology is a $1.98 word that just means the branch of philosophy that studies how we know things. And can we know anything? Can we only know things in science? But we can't know anything in religion or ethics or that can't be proven scientifically. How do we know that God is real? How do we know how to vote? What view of the state is the most reasonable one to hold to? Can we know or have good reasons to believe in life after death? And on it goes. So epistemology is an attempt to discern how we can have good reasons for things or to know things that throughout life, especially the most important things. And so there are some really basic ways of getting a hold of epistemology. I have a book coming out in a few months with Gary DeWeese, which is a new revised and expanded edition of what's called Philosophy Made Slightly Less Difficult with InterVarsity Press. And we've completely expanded it. So that would be a source for people to get their feet wet in. And I think learning how to deal with skepticism.
Yes.
Like a person says, well, how do you know that? You can't really know that.
Right.
Because you can't prove it scientifically, let's say, or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
But because what we don't want, Joe, is we don't want our brothers and sisters to be embracing their Christianity by an act of simply blind, arbitrary faith and rooted in emotion.
Absolutely.
That's not the way this works. Our faith is a trust that's based on good reasons, and then emotion plays a crucial role. I'm not denying that. But so epistemology is just a way of trying to get at the bottom of some of these things and help us to defend and proclaim our worldview.